Hey fashionistas, I'm Kay, creator behind KCharles Couture, where we turn budget friendly into runway ready, and all from the comfort of our home. No patterns, no problem, because here we make fashion fun, fierce, and totally DIY. Join our Facebook group at KCharles Couture. That way you can share your looks, personal styles, tips, and all other good things with other sewers just like you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos that I'm going to be posting for you every single week. So y'all know my motto: grab your scissors, grab some material, and let's go design something fabulous together. See you soon. So here is the bag. Let me show you this bag first. So this was my MKors bag. It was a drawstring bag, and my sister gave me this bag some years ago. And I loved the bag when she gave it to me because that's when I was into wearing a lot of big bags. But now I'm not into those things. And the reason I don't wear those really big bags anymore is because I don't carry as much stuff. I try to be a minimalist, so I'm cutting down on a lot of things that I'm carrying. But I love the bag. Like, I love the material. I love the pattern. I love the color. But I just realized it's been sitting in my closet and I'm not using this bag as often. So I have been on a journey of cutting up my bags and making them bags that I can use. So here is the first bag that I cut up. This was an ostrich leather. This is ostrich leather. This was also like a drawstring bag that I got from one of my aunts. And this is like the handle. This is the original handle. This is the original hardware and the zipper. But again, I'm not carrying big bags. I love this bag, and I actually wore it Sunday because it's big enough to put in the things I need, like my makeup bag. I could put my selfie stick in here. And it's easier to put under the table with like the little bag hook than it was before. It was a really big bag, so I didn't need it. So I cut it up and I made this little boxy bag right here. And when I say I love it, I love it. I love the way it came out. I love the way it looks. I think it's unique and it's going to be really nice. So I decided to also do that with my MKors bag because, like I said, this bag is great. I love the color. I love the design, but it's just a little too big and bulky for me now. So first thing I had to do was cut away the bag from the lining. So here is the bag. This is the outer bag, and this is like your cream color leather with the MKors logo throughout the whole bag. So here's the inside. These are the guts of the bag. That's what I like to call it. Now let's begin, because we want to make sure that we have all the pieces that we're going to need to make this bag as fabulous as I want it to be. Now I want to try to maintain the integrity of the bag as much as possible by incorporating all of the bag jewelry. I want to make sure that I incorporate the zipper. I try to keep as much as I can possible. Now this is like a camel color with a gold emblem, and I found this handle in my fabric stash, and it's perfect because it has the camel color and it also has the gold hardware. This is the bag that I'm going to be creating. I'm going to be doing a circle bag. I got the pattern from Miko Craft right here on YouTube. And this is the inside of the bag. I made this bag a few years ago, but this is real leather. I got one of those leather kit bags from Michaels, and I put that together, and I love it. So I want to recreate that bag with these new MKors pieces. And this is what I'm going to be using. Again, I love that I found this handle because I think the handle is going to look perfect with this bag. And again, now I don't have to recreate a new handle. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure, for me, I want to make sure that I can try to incorporate as many of these pockets as possible, especially the zipper pocket. Now, we all know how difficult for some it can be to make a zipper pocket. So this zipper pocket is already put together, and it also has a slip pocket in front. So I'm going to try my best to cut out the zipper pocket with this pattern, and I'm going to make sure that I incorporate that zipper pocket on the bag. Now, I was going to use these two slip pockets on this side, but I think it would be too much for that circle bag because I've showed y'all the inside of the other bag and there's not a lot of room. So we're only going to worry about keeping the zipper pocket. Next thing we gotta do is worry about a zipper. Now I have some brown zipper right here, but then I thought, you know what? You know how I am. KCharles Couture is all about a good pop of color. And when I put this green up next to this white and cream Michael Kors signature logo bag, I just loved it. I don't know why, but I just thought this olive green was perfect. So that is what I'm going to use. I'm choosing to use the olive green zipper. And again, it'll give it a nice pop of color. Again, this is going to be my new custom KCharles Couture / Michael Kors bag. So now that I have all of my pieces that I'm going to be using for this bag, we are going to begin. Now, again, like I said, the first thing I need to do is we're going to cut out the lining of the bag. And I'm going to be using, like I said, I'm going to be using the lining from the Michael Kors bag. So I've made up my mind when it comes to this pattern for the bag. On this side of the bag, I'm going to get rid of these 2 slip pockets because we're not going to need them inside the circle bag. So I'm just going to remove these slip pockets using a seam ripper. On the other side where we do have the zipper pocket, I'm looking at the pattern piece, and you want to line it up because you want to make sure that the zipper is not too close to the top and not too far away. So I want to see how much room I have with this pattern piece, and it looks like I'm going to have a lot of room, and I like that because even when I'm looking at the zipper pocket itself, well, the pocket itself, not the zipper, but the pocket itself, I'm just going to have to redo the size of the pocket so that it fits in the bag. That's going to be an easy fix. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pattern piece and I'm going to lay it out on top of the zipper pocket, and then I'm going to cut it out. Once I cut it out, I'm going to close off the zipper with some stitches so it doesn't fall up. So that the zipper pull doesn't fall off while I'm trying to create it. And then I'm also going to lose one side of this slip pocket because there's 2 slip pockets here, but the way the pattern is, only one of them will make it. And then, like I said, we're going to take these 2 slip pockets off because the bag is just not big enough to have a zipper pocket, a slip pocket, and 2 slip pockets on the other side. Now I'm looking at the outside of the bag. I'm going to have plenty of material for what I need for the outside of the bag. But I also have these other 2 pieces which I'm going to use for my gusset. So that was my concern. Was I going to have enough room to be able to use my gussets as well? But I think what I'm going to have to do is once I've cut off the bottom of this bag, I can either use a piece of that for the gusset, but I think I'm going to be okay. Once I remove this, I'll be able to lay it out flat, and then I'll really be able to see all my pattern pieces put on it together. Okay, so let's get started by removing these slip pockets on the side of the lining that we're not going to be using. I got it nice and flat now, and we can go ahead and get our seam ripper and go ahead and remove these 2 pockets. Now be careful when you're removing that pocket because you don't want to put any holes in the lining piece. And again, like I said, I'm trying to use the lining pieces, as much as the lining pieces as I can, so that when you open up the bag, not only will you see Michael Kors on the outside, but you'll also see it on the inside for the lining as well. Now for the gusset pieces, I won't have enough lining material, so I'm just going to be using a regular tan waterproof lining material that I normally use for my bags, but you won't see that, so it'll be fine. Now that I have those 2 slip pockets off, I'm going to go ahead and grab my pattern piece, and we're going to go ahead and cut out this lining piece. So that'll be 1 lining piece down. Okay, so now that we got the first lining piece cut out, we're going to go ahead and move over to the zipper pocket. Now, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to do the same thing I did for the other piece. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to make sure everything is laying out nice and flat, especially the pocket, because you don't want to cut the pocket, because we want to save that. And I'm going to lay it out, and you can see I'm going to use my paper weights so that it can hold the pattern down, because I want it to be nice and still. And I'm going up as far as I can to where the drawstring of the old bag meets with the pattern piece. And we're going to just do the same thing. We're going to cut around in a circle, and I'm going to make sure that I close off the zipper. I'm going to use some stick pins to close off the zipper so I don't lose the zipper pull. But I put the zipper pull in the middle so it doesn't get in the way and I don't cut it off. So let's go ahead and cut out this pattern piece, and then I'll show you what I mean when I say we're going to close off the pocket and the zipper. Now that we have that piece cut out, this is what it looks like. So the zipper pocket is nice and intact. And you can also see the pocket lining on the inside, which we're going to have to sew off and make sure that it's closed off so now it's a new pocket. So I'm going to make sure that I follow the seams of the side that already have the pocket, and I'm going to do the same thing on the side. So everything is nice and neat. So I have about 1.5 inches on one side. I'm going to make it 1.5 inches on the other side. And then we're going to close off the bottom of it, and I'm going to make sure that I sew it so that the zipper pull does not come off. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab me a couple of stick pins, because like I said, I need to move that zipper pull over, but I don't want it to fall off. Yes, I can put the zipper pull back on, but I don't want to have to do that. That's a whole lot of extra work. So let's just go ahead and put some pins on it so it doesn't move out of place, because thankfully the right side of the zipper is not at the end of the zipper. I actually have some room, so it's going to be really nice. This bag is going to come out happy, really good, and I'm so excited about it. So now that we've gotten both of those pieces cut out, we're just going to put this to the side real fast. And we're going to grab the MKors outside material, and we're going to do the same thing. But the first thing I'm going to do is take that bottom piece off of the bag so that I can lay it flat on the table. So go ahead and grab your seam ripper so that we can pull off the bottom of this bag. And listen, I'm going to tell you, only thing I don't like about the bags that they make is when they have to use that glue. Oh, God, I hate when they use glue on the bags, but I do understand why they do it, because they want to make sure that your bag has really good quality and that your seams are nice and flat. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of times that's not even necessary. So you can see I got the bottom of the bag, and we're just going to go ahead and rip that off. Again, make sure you're not tearing up the bag. You want to make sure that all your pieces are in good shape. You see I got the seam ripper, and I'm just going through it. And if there's some parts, I can just kind of pull it and it'll come loose. But once I have that bottom off, I'm going to grab my scissors. We're going to find the seam, and we're going to cut straight up the seam. So that's the seam that I'm going to cut up. Grab your scissors, and we're going to go straight up that seam and cut so now it lays nice and flat. So now you have a Michael Kors piece of fabric. Okay, so now that I have everything nice and flat, let's get all of our pattern pieces out so that we can lay them out like you would do any other bag that you're making, and see exactly where how we're gonna cut it, so we make sure everything is uniform and everything looks good. So these are all the pieces that you need. You're gonna need your front and your back facing, and you're gonna need those two gusset pieces. So what I do know is that there's plenty of room for that circle, and I'm also seeing that there's another seam that hasn't been cut for the bag. So I cut up one seam, but there's another side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two gusset pieces and I'm going to lay them in the middle of that seam, so that the bag looks uniform. So there's going to be a middle seam on each piece of the gusset, and it's going to look like that's how the bag was supposed to come. I think it's going to be fabulous. And then you see I have enough room on the other side to do the outside outside pattern piece as well. So now that I know I have plenty of room and plenty of material, let's go ahead and get this thing cut out. Now that I've gotten all the main pieces cut out, I got to make sure that I cut out my D-ring holders. And again, just like I said, I want the bag to look like it was supposed to be made this way, not that I made it that way. So I'm making sure that when I cut out the first D-ring holder, I'm going to use that same pattern piece, the same way the M and the K is following on that D-ring holder on the next one. So this one was actually perfect because it was able to put in the M and the K one slide. So I'm going to do that on the same thing on another piece of an MK. Again, we want to keep uniformity with this bag. You don't want to look like the bag is handmade. You want people to kind of look at it and say, did she really get that from the Michael Kors shop? I've never seen that bag before. That is the reaction you want. You don't want people to look at it and say, you know that's not no real Michael Kors bag. And we know every good woman loves some good bag jewelry. So I've added this piece of bag jewelry right here. It has like a little heart shaped locket on there. I'm going to be using the original tassel, and I'm going to be using the emblem that came with the bag. So look how nice that looks. Y'all, this bag is going to look really, really good. I cannot wait to rock it. Okay, y'all, so let's go ahead and take care of the zipper pocket lining side of the bag on the inside. So the first thing we have to do is close off the pocket bag. Now, I told you we want to make sure that this bag looks like a professional bag that we actually may have possibly bought from the Michael Kors store, even though we know that's not the case. So let me grab my ruler because I can't draw a straight line or cut a straight line without a little assistance and guidance. So now that I have my ruler, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line with a water soluble pen or pencil, whichever one you're using, chalk, tape, or whatever. And I'm going to draw a line down so that it's on the same size as the other pocket on the right hand side. And then I'm going to look at how much of the bag on the bottom of the pocket bag we can keep, because you don't want your pocket bag to be as long as your purse. That's just not going to work. So now that I've gotten the right size, we're going to go over to the machine. I'm going to sew it down that L, so now that we have a new pocket bag. So come on over with me to the machine and let's close off this pocket bag. I'm using my Janome heavy duty machine today, and the first thing we're going to do is close off that zipper. So you're going to see me, I'm just going back and forth to close off the zippers again so my zipper pull doesn't fall off while I'm trying to sew. And then we're going to go ahead and work on the pocket bag. So now that you have your marks, just go ahead, well, I better put on the regular sewing foot first and take off that zipper foot. Now that I have that on, let's go ahead and close off the pocket bag. Don't forget the back stitch when you get close to the pocket. I've done that. It looks great. Go ahead and get your scissors. We can cut off that excess. Now we have a new lining with a new pocket bag. Next thing we're going to do is start working on our zipper. Grab your zipper, and you're going to follow instructions that Miko Craft has for you. This is a tutorial, but if you want detailed instructions, you can go on his website and he'll show you how to put the bag together. But as you can see, I'm working on the zipper part right now, half of the gusset. And again, I love the way that green looks. It just gives it a little vibe of pop of color. And now that I have the zipper all sewn down, I'm going to be using, like I said, because this is also going to be a KCharles Couture original. So I'm going to be using my zipper pull instead of the Michael Kors zipper pull. So you can see right there, I have the KCharles Couture zipper pull on it. Again, like I said, this has now become a collab. This is not just a Michael Kors bag anymore. So of course I got to add some type of touches there for myself. So next we have to do the D-rings, and what I'm realizing is when the pattern says to fold it in three is too thick for mine. So I actually had to cut mine in two. So I only have two pieces that I'm using for the D-rings. But once you have those two D-ring holders put together, you're going to grab your D-rings, fold it over, and then we're going to sew it onto the gusset of the bag. Go ahead and add your second gusset pieces to the first gusset that now has a zipper attached to it. And again, just follow the instructions from Miko Craft. I don't really want to get into another detailed tutorial when he does such a really good job of doing it. But this is what I'm doing right now, adding the second gusset to it so that we can go on to the next step. Now, once your gusset is actually sewn together, for me, this is when I can actually start seeing the bag like really coming together. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, wow, I can't believe I just did this. Like, this actually looks like a bag that I would get from the MKors website. If you know, and I did go on to his website. He does have circle bags. Let me just act like he does not have them on there. And but for the cost of the fraction of buying a whole new bag and then taking the old bag I have that was just collecting dust in the closet, this beats it. So now we have to add the front and the back to the bags. So we're just gonna give it some snips because you want to make sure that your front and your back can fit on there nice and easy. And I'm gonna tell you something. I used to be one of those bag makers, and I would try to skip some steps, like making these snips, because I hated doing this, and maybe because I just didn't have a really good pair of snips in the first place. But this is so key to putting your bag together. Do not, if it says make snips, please make those snips. You will thank yourself for it later. Go ahead and grab the front of your bag or the back of your bag, which, oh, in fact, we're starting with the front of the bag. So get the front of your bag, and we're going to go ahead and pin that around all the way. And then we're going to go over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew it down. Let me tell y'all, it looks like this is easy. It really is not easy, but this one is well put together. I'm going to say thank you, MKors, for the fabulous leather material that you use for your bags. The quality of the materials is what make a bag look really good. Then this is a process of the bag that sometimes when I first started making bags, it's the part that I hated the most. Now what we're doing is we're sandwiching the bag and the lining material inside, but we're going to leave a little opening. Not a little opening. You're going to leave an opening big enough so that what we call birthing a bag. It's almost like giving birth to a baby, honestly. So go over to your machine, sew it around, and I'm leaving that part open so that we can birth that bag through there. Now we're going to go ahead and trim off some of these edges because they're in the way, right? Let's move them out the way. Let's cut them off. And now we're going to start birthing this bag. Y'all take your time. Don't try to rush, especially if it's your first time putting a bag together. Just be patient with it. You want to make sure you got enough room in there for your hand. And you can see I'm just pulling it out. And I do have this in fast mode. So believe me, I think I even put this bag down at one time. I was like, you know what? I just need to pause for a minute. Because it's like really like they say, birthing a baby. But you're birthing this bag. But we're going to pull the bag all the way through, and so that we can go ahead and add the other side. But that's going to have your lining on there nice and neat, and it's going to look so good. Now that we have the bag birthed through, you're going to have to do a little hand stitching. It's not a lot, it's very little. It took me about 5-6 minutes to do that. You're going to go ahead and hand stitch that now. So now the inside of your bag looks good. Now it's time to add the second side of the bag. But the first thing you want to do is you want to put the lining in the back of the bag and the lining in the front of the bag together. And you're just going to go around and sew the whole edge. So now you have one piece. We're only going to be working with one piece, not two. So go ahead and pin those together, take it to your machine and sew it down. And we're going to do the same thing we did for the front side of the bag, but this time you won't have to birth it. All right, y'all. So this is what your bag looks like right now if you're making this bag with me or with the YouTube tutorial from MKors. But this is what my bag looks like right now. I don't have any tan bias tape. I thought about using some green since I did the green zipper, but I don't want to do that. So Amazon hasn't delivered my package yet, which has some tan bias tape in there. But once I get it, I'm just going to cover this up, this edge. But this is the inside. This is that zipper pocket right there. And then you have that little slip pocket in the front. I love it. This is, like I said, this is the inside of the bag. So let's flip it inside out. Let's flip it inside out. This is not like birthing the baby. This one is actually different because we just got to flip it inside out and give it the shape. So go ahead inside and punch it out. Punch all of the corners and make sure everything is sticking out well like that. This is what it looks like. So y'all remember we went from that big drawstring bag, the big drawstring MKors bag, and now we have a sling circle round bag. This is my, what I like to call my MKors KCharles Couture collab. It's done. I love it. I love the inside of the pockets. We're going to go ahead and add our strap. This is the strap that I chose to use because, like I said, it matches the hardware that I already have in here. And because I don't want it to really be a crossbody, it's not going to be. So this is it with the strap on it, and I like it. Now let's go ahead and add our little jewelry on there as well. So we're going to add that on there. Yeah, I'm going to put this one on this side. There's no rhyme or reason what side you want to have your jewelry on. It's whatever you want. But I put this one on that side over there. And then on this side is where I'm going to put I'm actually going to put that into the handle. So we're going to have that here. And lock that down like that. I don't know, maybe I should just all put everything on one side. It probably look better on one side. What y'all think? Yeah, I'm going to put it on the other side. I think I like it better over there. So let's move this because I don't like it there. We're going to move this on the other side with these, with this little jewelry. And I'm just going right through the D-ring. Right through the D-ring hook. Pull it through like that. Boom. Guess what? Now I have a new MKors round circle bag with this strap that I love. And like I said, I have my little purse jewelry right there, the MKors tag, and now I have a new bag that I'll be carrying with me everywhere. I'm actually getting ready to put this on with an outfit, so stay tuned and you'll see how I rock this. So I'm going to grab some food, and I figured why not get on here and show you all the things I've made. I made this jumpsuit. This is a self-drafted jumpsuit I made. It's perfect for the summertime. And why not carry my bag? My new bag I just made today. This is by MKors KCharles Couture collab right here. And when I say I love it, I love it. When I tell y'all I'm going to be carrying this bag with me every day now, this bag is going with me every day. I love that pop of green in there. It just works out perfect.